All right, Devin, let's look at your paper. MLA format. So this is good. This is good. On keeping step. I'm not sure. You got some space issue here. So it's not exactly centered. So make sure you get over. All right, so let's look at your introduction. All right, so you start with a couple questions, which is fine. I'd love to have you follow them up, either one after another, or maybe like right here and just talk about, you know, you could even bring in an outside source. How much does it take to replace an engine? How much does it take to, fix a transmission? And then say you don't have money for that. Well, the solution to your problem would be this. So comma, you'd be to tow your car, no comma, by hitting a deer. Just get rid of this because your whole thing is about. It's not for example. It literally is about hitting a deer. After you hit it, your next step would be to hope that the deer is big. Okay. Hopefully it'll tow your car so you have an obvious excuse to get a new one. This is a good thesis statement. You have to take chances sometimes in order to achieve the things you want and need. I like that as a thesis statement, but this is out of place. I would put this somewhere else. About having a new shiny sparkly car in no time. I'd put that somewhere else in here. Maybe right before you introduce or right after you introduce your topic in your introduction. I'd put it right there. All right, so with your topic sentence, now this wasn't one of your main points up here. You said your first step was to hit a deer or hit the deer, but your first step is to check with the insurance company. So make sure in your introduction it's obvious what the main points are going to be. So your first step is to check with the insurance company. Topic sentence needs to be stronger. So it's not just what is the step, it's what is the step going to do for you. Make sure you have deer collision coverage. Don't say very. Remember, only comma conjunction when you have two complete sentences on either side. So no comma there. No comma here. So good statistics from State Farm. Is this a direct quote? If so, make sure you put quotes around it. If not, it's fine. And then your period's going to go at the end of the citation. You want to have a strong transition statement into the next step as well to say once you've checked and know that you have collision coverage, now you have to keep everything a complete secret or whatever. So make sure you have a transition there. I would even, I don't know, I feel like you need some more details even in this paragraph, some things that you can add there. There's nothing wrong with it per se, but it just needs some more details. So this is a run-on sentence, so make sure you separate that. But your next step is to keep it a secret. So pretty funny that word gets around a small town. Yeah, it's just like a flash of lightning. That's pretty funny. It leads to getting caught, but remember, you're not going to tell anybody, right? So why even talk about that? And, talk about the insurance fraud. If I were you, I think I would combine these two paragraphs because basically your first step is checking to make sure that you're good for insurance fraud. So I really think you can combine these two paragraphs. I don't know if they need to be on their own. Good use of outside sources. Remember the final punctuation goes on the other side of the parentheses, so make sure you keep that there. All right, so I'm going to argue again that you need to combine some paragraphs because I feel like these two paragraphs are the same thing. Basically, you need to scout a location and plan. So really, your whole step is about planning the accident. So your first step is making sure you can, perform this fraudulent activity. Your second step is to plan the whole thing. So to plan it, you have to have a destination reason for going to that area. After you figure out where's the most common area, find out a reason to go there. Make sure, and then again, make sure that it's an area where there are deer at, and look for these signs which you talk about. Signs that it would be a good area, and then go on to this step. I really think you can combine these two paragraphs, and I don't know if it's literally just maybe tabbing or backspacing up, but I think these two things could be there because you do repeat a lot of stuff about being secretive. You don't have to talk about that. Remember the comma conjunction rule. Make sure you follow that. If you're in Michigan, you should have a problem finding a cornfield since they're everywhere. So good idea on that. Side of city streets. So you can even that's a sentence fragment, so you can elongate that sentence, Devin, and really write a longer sentence. Need a transition statement to get you into this next step, because once you plan it, now the next step is enacting your plan, which I think maybe some of this information can even put down here, because you can talk about how you head out around 9, make sure you don't have necessarily a destination you're going to, whatever. So combine these two paragraphs, leave elements maybe down here for the actual night of the slaughter, and then you'll have maybe a little bit better flow. All right, so your next step is the actual act of doing it. Make sure it's dark. Make sure if it's dark, do not put the brights on your car. You got space issue here. Run away. Head toward a field, wooded area, cornfield, while trying to look for a deer. You may not achieve finding one the first time. So there's a run-on sentence here. You got a lot of run-on sentences here. I like that it's strong and hefty. I like that wording. This is a comma splice here. So here's a run-on sentence. Searching as hard as you can. Here's a long run-on sentence here. So I like the idea of hitting, having multiple deer cross. Now the next one is actually hitting the deer. So could these two can be combined, because it is sort of the act still of hitting it. Once you spot your Bambi, now it's time to ram your car into it or whatever. So maybe you could combine those two together. So the first step is kind of figuring out your insurance. Second step is planning the whole thing and doing some scouting, if you will. Third step is actually creating that that accident, and the fourth step is reporting it and collecting the money. Something like that would be a good organizational pattern to follow. All right, so again, this is the act of hitting it still. This is funny, trying to kill yourself in the process. Again, run-on sentence though. This is a run-on sentence. You need to exceed the speed limit, comma, controlling the car at the same time. I like disable both the car and deer. Like that's a euphemism. We talked about euphemisms in class the other day, Devin. That's a euphemism for killing, to disable it. An uninjured but alive deer can be dangerous. The next step is to pull over, if possible. So again, I feel like this is still part of the killing the deer. You need to turn your headlights on. This is a run-on sentence. The deer accident, I like that you put it in quotes. This is a run-on sentence. If they didn't figure out you did this all to get a new car. So that's a sentence fragment, but that's a different story. Don't even bring it up. Once a tow truck comes to take your car that you hope is totaled away. So this is a fragment. You'll finally be able to buy a new car, which is the purpose of this whole situation. So that should be now the end of that paragraph. Now we need to get into a conclusion. In your conclusion, restate your thesis statement, which you have at the beginning, in your introduction. Go over your main points, which hopefully you'll fix next when you rewrite it, and then end on a clincher statement. This isn't a bad clincher statement right here. Even if it's life-threatening, the new car will be totally worth it all. And you'd want to separate. This should be like a semicolon here, something like that. Okay, works cited page. These two, remember you need 3 outside sources. You only have 2. And I wanted to show you what you should write in here. All right, so I extended it a little bit. I found this website that you used, Devin, this from State Farm. And when you click on it, over it, you'll see that little banner pop up, the 6 things to do after hitting a deer. That will go in quotes first. So you'll put that in quotes first. Then I'll basically say statefarm.com right after it. And then it'll be the web, then the date. See this accessed? That is supposed to tell me when you accessed it. And I don't think you looked at it last year. So that is wrong. 1996 is not when you access this. Same thing with the Michigan fraudulent laws. You just got to make sure what is that thing that hovers above it. That goes first in quotes. The only reason you put a name first is if they're the author of the whole website, in which case neither of those examples are. But remember, works cited goes on its own page. You still need another source though. Devin, it's not a bad paper. You just got some organizational things that I want you to think about. really need to work on a strong conclusion, which you don't have. You have a good voice, which is decent, and hopefully we'll see a rewrite out of you.